What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to be doing a deep dive into the world of Reddit tattoos. Now, I personally don't spend a whole lot of time on Reddit, but recently I did stumble across a bunch of super dope tattoos, as well as some interesting ones that I thought would be fun to share with you. So, let's get it. Alright, now the first one we come across is this Darth Maul by DJTambi. Now, I do know DJTambi won Ink Master a couple times, if I'm not mistaken. And for good reason, because if you look at this Darth Maul, this thing is badass. This thing has all the right ingredients that really make up a great realistic tattoo. Now, this is clearly on an inner bicep, which obviously has to be very painful, especially for something that big with that much detail. I do see a couple of the comments wondering if this is on a leg, which would be very weird because that would mean the back of his knee is ridiculously hairy. So I hope that's not his leg.
Got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun.
The color saturation and application is top notch, and those little wrinkles around his nose and eyes really take this thing to the next level. You can really tell that DJ didn't cut any corners on this tattoo and really put in the work needed. As far as composition goes, I think this thing is the perfect size, where it's not warping the face in any way, shape, or form. When I read through the comments, it seems like everybody thinks those horns are realistic, or some kind of implant, because those things are truly popping off the arm, and those eyes are scary. I'll probably have nightmares tonight. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of how this tattoo ends on the top. I wish that would have gone just a little bit further to extend that horn and finish it off. However, I'm sure that thing had to hurt like hell. So, understandable in this circumstance. Before we go on to the next one, let's check out these highlights real quick. I know oftentimes a lot of artists will use too much white in a tattoo, making the tattoo feel not as realistic as it should. Now, I could be wrong, but I do believe DJ used a light pink instead of a white on most of the highlights in this face. And that helps keep this piece looking realistic, where the only whites that were used are on the horns and a little bit on the lips. If you look at the eyes, you don't see any white whatsoever. And I think that's where a lot of tattooers get it wrong. Overuse of white can really flatten out an image very quickly. So if you're not familiar with DJTambi, check out his work, because he is an absolute beast. Up next, we've got a UV light tattoo that was made in Seoul, South Korea. Now, to my knowledge, tattooing is illegal in South Korea. So what a better way to hide it than a UV light tattoo? Now, what's interesting about it being illegal over there is they are some of the world's best tattooers. I don't know how that's possible. Now, I don't generally know how long these UV tattoos last, as I personally don't have any of my own. However, I have heard them lasting up to 10 years, but usually not too much longer after that. So if you're in the market for a somewhat temporary tattoo, this might be for you. And you'll be the absolute highlight at all the gentlemen's clubs. I see a "you may be entitled to compensation" commercial in the future. You may be radioactive. Now, as far as the design goes, I do think this one is a little stale. If I were to get a UV tattoo, I probably would have a little more fun with it, like this Homer Simpson tattoo, or even this Cheshire Cat. Just something that adds to an already existing tattoo. That way it makes sense when the UV lights are off. But nonetheless, this is still a very unique tattoo, and it's always fun to look at something different. Alright, next we've got this cute little poison bottle made by the tattooer Banjo Pegs. Right off the bat, I absolutely love this tattoo, and I love these thick line weights this thing has. You can really tell that this bottle is transparent, with the way the artist utilized that white and blue. And the way that the artist used two different colors on that skull really helps sell the effect of that skull being submerged in that liquid. I think my favorite part about this tattoo are those leaves, and how they each have a unique shape to them. It's not the same leaf stamped over and over and over again. And the way that Banjo ended those leaves with a nice sharp tip without going too far really shows off his skill set. Oftentimes I see artists run that line a bit too far, and it's just a little annoying because most leaves don't look like that. Recently, we actually did an apprentice video where we looked at several of these little potion bottles, and I gave you an artist by the name of Noe Blossom for you to check out and study her work. And I think this is another artist that you should be looking at and studying if this is something that you want to be doing. One of the very few problems I have with this tattoo are the white teeth in the skull. I do think that those teeth should be a very light green, so it kind of matches everything else that's submerged under that green liquid. The only other issue I have with this tattoo, and it's really not even that big of an issue, is the cork up at the top that kind of looks a little like cheddar cheese. But other than that, I think Banjo did an excellent job with this tattoo, and I would love to see more of his work. Alright, up next we've got a rework of a Sacred Heart tattoo. And when we look at the before picture, you can tell that this is a very bad tattoo. Now, keep in mind that a lot of these orange markings on the before photo are actually Sharpie marker. If you take away all that orange and black, then you're left with what the actual tattoo used to look like, which I believe is just the red heart, these thorns, and that little red flame at the top. Now, when I look at the after picture, This is definitely a lot better, but it's still not what I would call a great tattoo by any stretch. The one thing that I would have changed about this tattoo is the use of yellow in the background, because it's blending too much with the yellow flame that's up front. If it were me, I probably would have made those rays purple, just to give that flame some nice contrast, and allowed that flame to stand out amongst everything else. I also think the black in the rays is just a bit too harsh, and I think one thing the artist could have done is just fade those black rays off a bit sooner, and maybe even start off a little less black at the beginning. Now on the rework, the heart does look a little squished here, but the artist was working with limitations on the previous design, so I can't expect them to make that heart any fatter. So as I said before, this is definitely a much better version of the previous design. There are just a few things that I would have done differently. Unfortunately, if the collector still isn't happy with this tattoo, then they're going to have a lot harder time covering this one. Alright, real quick, I want to take a break and give a shout out to the sponsor of this channel, Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare, the all-natural solution to help keep your ink looking vibrant and fresh. Say goodbye to harsh chemicals and hello to happy, healthy tattoos. To try Mad Rabbit, use the link below and use code PONY20 to save 20% off of any Mad Rabbit product. Alright, back to the show. Alright, this next one is a watercolor design that has been aged for 7 years. And it does look like it stayed pretty well, and it's definitely still something that I wouldn't be a fan of. If I had to guess, this is probably a song from the Grateful Dead. I'm no composer. This definitely looks like some psychedelic cat puke, but since we're talking about the longevity of tattoos here, this one definitely aged very well. It doesn't even look like the yellow faded very much, and typically that's the first to go. If they didn't have a new tattoo on the right shoulder, then I would guess that these photos were taken on the exact same day, because it doesn't look like anything has changed, not even the blacks. If I'm reading this correctly, it goes dun 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 dun.
I'm no composer.
Well, as far as the longevity and the aging goes on this tattoo, kudos to the artist. But as far as the design goes,
Toilet tattoo.
next! Alright, next we've got this little flower tattoo. That is cute, and I think the size works for this piece in particular, but my problems lie within the technical application of this piece. First and foremost, the white outline that's running through this entire thing is doing absolutely nothing for this tattoo. I'd be surprised if that white were around in 3 years. And quite honestly, I'd be surprised if this entire tattoo were around in 10 years. It almost looks like this entire tattoo is sitting on the first 2 layers of skin, which doesn't really work out for tattoos. You need to get it all the way down to the dermis. Maybe you should have checked out that last artist. He knows how to stick them. When you look at these 2 blue flowers in the middle, again, it just looks like it's laying on the top layer of skin. You really need to drill that down in there. You can't just scratch the surface of the skin and expect these things to stick around. And the same thing could be said for those leaves. It just doesn't look like they're sitting in the right layer of skin. This commenter says, I don't think the line work is bad, plus I think the aesthetic is supposed to look like watercolors, which is why it's blotchy and faded. Stylistic choice, I guess. Over time though, it will fade, like you said, but all tats do at some point. But that's not the point of tattoos. Tattoos are supposed to stick around forever.
Forever.
Well, anyway, good luck with that tattoo, and hopefully you never see the sun. What do we got next? All right, next up we've got this adorable little cat made by Yono at the Chicago Arts Convention. To be honest, I think cats are probably one of the hardest things to tattoo. Personally, I struggle with them very much. I think it's very difficult to achieve that fur-like texture. When I do cats, they just end up very smooth. I could tattoo hairless cats all day long, but Yono seemed to nail it. This fur texture is on point, and I absolutely love this little cat's teeth. They are so freaking cute, and I really think Yono managed to capture those cat's eyes, because those are a beautiful set of cat eyes. We have to zoom in here and look at those little details, because this is why I struggle so much when it comes to animal portraits. Every one of these little lines adds texture to the cat and make it believable. And it's not just throwing these lines anywhere. You really have to follow the cat's anatomy and make sure that that fur goes in the direction that it's supposed to go in. There really is nothing I would change with this tattoo, and I think the artist did an excellent job. Solo Charlie Brown, done by Scott at his personal studio, aka his kitchen. And this thing cracks me up. Oh man, this comment says Carlos Brown. Alright, so this tattoo is hilarious, but there are a couple things that I would change technically. And the main one are those sunglasses. They are definitely not symmetrical. On his left side, those glasses stick out way too far. I think they could be a bit shorter. And the other thing is the shorts he's wearing. I know there's supposed to be some sort of separation line running down the middle of this, but it's just not there. It just kind of looks like Carlos is wearing a skirt. Also, when it comes down to his socks, again, there is no separation line to separate each individual sock, and they kind of just bleed together. Are those K-Swiss? But overall, I think this is a pretty funny tattoo. I don't think anybody's really picking this thing apart like I am. It's just meant to be funny and bring some laughs. Next! Alright, next up we've got this super dope little samurai frog by Gerardo Soto. And this thing is... money! Seriously though, this thing is badass and I would love to sport this tattoo. It's got so many fun elements that really keep your eyes moving around this entire piece. From the drop shadow on his tongue, all the way to those dots that are really giving every part of his body some shape. Alright, this is a first. There are so many good things that I like about this tattoo that I really don't know where to start. You can really tell that the artist put care into every single little piece of this tattoo. Let's start at the bottom. You've got these pink little flowers with these thin green leaves in between them, and even those little green leaves have the nicest detail. Going up to the reflection on the blade, it just looks realistic. From the purple kimono to the blue shading, the artist really knows where to put that color in and where to let go. That's where the shape is coming from. Not necessarily those areas that were tattooed, but the areas that they decided to leave alone. Another area that shows good shape is his gullet and that little area that they decided to leave flesh tone. I know it looks white, but it's just skin tone. The way that the artist used all those darker colors to give it some shape really shows off their skills, and it allows it to have that round, bulbous shape. And I absolutely love his little Mai Tai hat. Again, I can't say enough good things about this tattoo. This is definitely one of the better tattoos I've seen in a long time. Alright, I had an absolute blast with these tattoos, and I am more than impressed with what I saw this week. I didn't expect to see so many good tattoos, to be quite honest. And that last one? Sheesh! And remember, if you guys want to see your tattoos critiqued here, you can do so by sending them in to ponycritiques@gmail.com. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and as always, I will see you all next week. Sheesh!